Okay, I guess this is where I say we didn't vote on anything, we didn't make any official decisions on anything. We discussed a personnel issue. Okay? All right. We are at other business. Is there any other business? Yes, sir.
Will you go ahead? Okay. Well, I'm just going to mention two things. One, we talked last year about, there again, trying to get together and talk about our options for streets. Now, who you want to bring in for some contractors that can talk about it? I brought a little bag of microsurface material that's coming off at my driveway. It's been out there for 12 years, and it's good thick stuff. It's not asphalt, but I gave some to Shamir, and I'm trying to think, that needs to be...
How many cars drive down your driveway?
Just me. And the new street sweepers down there is tearing it up. That sweeper actually works. But I'm glad to see it. I'm glad to see it. Anyway, it's been down there long enough, and it's starting to crumble a little bit. But I'm going to say...
12 years out of that?
I think so. Whenever they did Palisade,
Long time.
that's been probably 12 years ago, maybe 15, or 15. At least. But so all I'm saying is that needs to be considered as an alternative to 2 inches of asphalt. It's cheaper. It doesn't last as well. It's not as good. But between that and the, I'm going to call it the paint that you can get, like what was put on hardwood furniture's lot down there, you probably saw it this summer. It does good. It helps protect it. It'll last longer if you do that. It's not near as good as this stuff. But anyway, I'm just saying we need to consider our options and what we could get the most bang for our buck on each street. Needs a little different consideration of whether it needs real asphalt or just a microsurface material like that.
We'll make sure that you guys are given a lot of notice when we line up street advisors, so that you have time to come up with your questions and propose solutions and stuff, so that you're not only caught with it 2 or 3 days before time.
And my second spot, I would just ask you, I said, be sure next month I expect you to come in with that pool budget.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I have a couple of things. One, I talked with Kerry, and there's something that I'm wanting to do. Dr. Riccone had a garden out on Omega Street that he always planted and took care of, and invited anybody, anywhere, and they would get a woman or whatever to come in and use it. And in memory of Doc, I'm wanting to continue that and start that, but I'd also like to grow that into possibly maybe some of our vacant lots or whatever. And we're wanting to take and get the master gardeners involved in this, and 4-H of teaching these kids of how to prepare a garden, what the garden is for. I've also talked to my daughter-in-law about possibly, she's with UAMS, of coming in, and as we glean and harvest some of those gardens, to actually cook and make it seem to these kids what the benefits are. She is a diabetes pharmacist. And, I think this is a problem that is very prevalent in our city here and in our county. And I think this would actually have to be kind of a dual type thing. But if we could possibly use her, as Travis might could see some areas that we have cleared or whatever, we take and make neighborhood gardens that, they're going to take care of it, but it also helps take care of the appearance of that neighborhood. It gives the people some cohesiveness to work together. And if one person eats it all, well, that's, that's the way it might be. But I think it's a way to create some community. As we get a little further into it, we have to bring it in. I'd like for you to be thinking about it as maybe some of these places we can dim or whatever, that if we have that opportunity, or some other places that we have the opportunity to use those places. That, one, it makes the appearance look better, and things of that nature. The other thing is a very sore subject. We've worked on this some, but there's apparently some mass misconfusion that has gone out into the paper over this deal with the Boys Club, and I'd like to set things straight. I started on this project even before it was brought to you, because one of the board members of the Boys Club called me and asked me and said that they had tried to meet with you and for whatever reasons or whatever. So I then brought it to you, and you and Sam, and at the time Denny went out and looked at it. I was out there that day myself, removing dirt out of that they had pulled up out of the base paths and stuff, and some type of decision was made. We came to an agreement, and I went out and fixed it myself, that one of the holes that was in one of the playing fields, I took a tarp out there or a piece of rubber matting that I have and fixed that temporarily, and we were supposed to do this later. Well, as you stated in the paper, you never heard from Mr. Freeman after all of this hullabaloo that went on through their thing, and I will tell you that I was contacted by the board out there wanting to know what we were going to do. And I think sometime in September or October, I made mention at one of our meetings, pre-meetings, that we needed, and for some reason, the idea that the club was going to be responsible for the pipe was put out there. Now, I'll just go ahead and tell you, I don't know who said this. Well, I do know who said it. I know who said it in front of me. In fact, the exact words that were used is that after some of your meetings, I was told that there was not going to be anything done. And this was by the past Public Works person. And I think that is part of the problem that's going on, is that we're not getting to the root of the problem. And I will tell you that it's not fixed out there. There are other places out there. At our meeting here, when Shamir told me that we were fixing to start work on it, I gave him my number. I told him to call me. I would come out there and show him all of the places out there that needed to be fixed. But as it was told to me, we fixed one place out next to the street, and it was told to you that the job was done. The job was not done. And that's part of the whole reason that they've gone through all this. But my real concern is that whatever the paper says from Mr. Freeman or the Boys Club or whatever, we don't need to get into a bantering effect with it at a later on. If the press asks, just say, we're working on it, we'll try to get to you as soon as we can. Please don't. And Mr. Freeman was wrong. He should have never done what he said. He should have chosen his words in a better direction. But he didn't. But we're public officials, and we have to do better. And we need to get this problem fixed out there, get it over with, let the public see that we are on their side, that we're going to get it taken care of. And let's get some confidence back in our city people who we represent. And that's all I'm going to say.
One sentence, and that's all I'll say. I told Denny and Sam both, I didn't care about making the Boys Club pay for anything, just fix the problem.
Okay, well then it was misrepresented.
Now it was after we had had a conversation that if the Boys Club would buy the pipe, we'd put it in. Then there was this fuss going back and forth, and I said, guys, I don't care. Pipe doesn't cost that much. Just fix the problem.
Well, when we started out, the whole thing is I knew that it was just the joints, and there should have been no issue with the pipe.
Right.
And I will say that Denny said, oh, it's gonna take 200 feet of pipe. Denny didn't know.
Right.
And I told Denny that myself, but he basically told me, you know, this is what it's gonna take to fix it. You have to find out what the problem is before you can fix anything.
Yes.
And that's our whole problem, is we dive off into things and do not get to the root of the problem.
2 questions. Number one, I guess, is it fixed now?
No, sir.
It's not fixed now. So at our next committee meeting, can we get a report on what it's gonna take to fix it so we can do it before ball season?
Well,
Is that too much to
we
ask?
were able to fix the one end, because what it is the pipes, the way they're jointed together, they've moved a little bit. So they took the knee coat and fixed that. And as far as I know, that problem next to our street is fixed. But I think what has happened is there's other places up through there, and that
Bottom line is, when we have our committee meeting in 2 weeks, can we get a report on what it's gonna take to fix it and at what time frame? And what's the cost? I mean.
well, I think what we're gonna have to do is dig it up to find out what it's gonna take to fix it.
We got the man on the ground.
He's been sitting over there going, put me in, coach. Put me in, coach.
Councilmen and women, I accept the responsibility of the issue. It was thrown to me, it wasn't thrown to me, it was given to me when I became Public Works Director in September. Friday, December 15th, usually I delegate my guys to do a certain job, and they went out and took care of the task. I don't micromanage them, anything like that. I have complete faith in all my supervisors. So December 15th, they went out there, dug it up with the backhoe, and they said the pipe was intact completely. We got some ram neck from Little Rock, which we didn't have. Ram neck is adhesive, a black tar that goes around concrete pipe, just like silicone, I guess. So they found a crack in the piping, and they put the ram neck inside the crack and kind of patched it up. We'll do further investigation whenever you're ready. I'm sorry that we didn't communicate with you in a timely manner. I'm sorry about that, and I know how to communicate with the council, men and women now, for the further projects. But we could definitely go out there again and dig some more holes and see what the other issues are.
Well, it's not that, I hate to use your name because you were my contact.
Exactly.
I'm not trying to say what my whole thing is, and I'll just go on and lay it down. You're given a job to do from her. You give your people a job from you.
Correct.
You have to backtrack.
Somebody has to go check it.
Somebody has to go check it. And I'm sorry, Mayor, it all comes right back to you.
No argument.
We just got to do a better job of whatever we start completing.
Right. And I will take all responsibility.
And I'm gonna scold the club too. You know, they tried to use me to strong arm, and I said I will do what I can to fix this. And I thought, and you had started this project, and I told them of that. I said, we're fixing to start the project. And, you know, there again, unfortunately, because all the little pieces of the puzzle weren't fit together, you know, you told Mr. Freeman that the project was complete because that's what you were told, okay? But because of the steps, sorry, you don't have a free excuse on that. And
Didn't even try.
Well, no, what I'm glad, you know, so to him, what you said was not the truth. Now, his words of how to say not the truth were not correct. And that can go in the paper, and I'll tell him that myself at breakfast in the morning if he shows up. Because I told him, I said, I'm gonna squash both sides. And I'm as much involved as on part of this because I heard some scuttlebutt that I did not follow up on myself. I tried to blow it off as banter in a place in an early morning breakfast that, you know, I should have not. I take full responsibility for that. So, from now on, if I hear something, somebody's gonna find out. So, all I ask is that I'm gonna report to whatever it is now, the Washita, but still, to me, it's the boys' club, that we are going to tackle the problem, but they need to tackle some of their issues themselves. Is that fair enough?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Shamir, can I?
Sure.
I got a couple of things, and while you're up here, I mentioned it for the record. People on Maple Street, Cleveland, the neighborhood over there, they want to thank Public Works supervisor for cutting that tree down that I brought up last month. Looks so nice. Cars not getting scratched up. Thank you so much. That's all I got. Business license. I have a cohort at work asking about coming to pay for his business license. Can he
Yes.
come up now? No?
No.
Jim just told me yesterday that they can.
He's setting up their system.
What do you,
Okay.
Business license.
So it's
what
not-
do you say, you can't do it, or
If it was just.
they're not billing it, or?
I have been, up until now, apparently, I couldn't accept the new ones or renewals until their statement had been generated.
Okay.
And once the statement is generated, then I can accept the payment. Yeah, but apparently they
He's not through closing out. probably.
changed something, so I'll check on that tomorrow.
Okay.
Thanks, I'm sorry.
If you would, send me an email, ballpark figure one time. I mean, this person likes to get his stuff paid up at the
Yeah.
end of the year.
Well, they should mail those out generally, mail out the
They-
the
If you know
invoices
it's
on it.
due in January, you should be able to pay it in
Yeah,
January.
Agreed.
Well, he's ready to pay his, and evidently he can't, so.
Oh.
That's what he's
Yeah.
saying.
We had the same
Send it
problem
to-
last
Should have sent me the money.
Yeah, yeah.
He'll get
Yeah, send it to Ellie, he'll take care of it.
Yeah, I didn't know about that. You're I holding sent for some, one. 3 or 4 people away today. I wasn't aware.
I got one other issue dealing with money. I don't know if many of y'all studied over your end of the year thing, and I was kinda hoping Jim would still be here to discuss it. You know, he had this little chart, but I just, in my reviewing the numbers, I just wanted y'all to be aware of something. I'm hoping the trend changes in the first 6 months of this year. The first 6 months of last year, on Jim's little chart that he prepared for us, the first 6 months of last year, our sales taxes were ahead $45,000. The last 6 months, they went down $61,000. They were short from the year before, and I say went down, but they were short from the previous. So we started out good, thank the Lord, but the last 6 months was bad. Now there's different reasons that kind of fluctuate and change around, but that's not a good trend.
Part of that be because some have not paid their sale, I'm thinking about A&P.
Yeah.
We talked about that several times.
Yeah, no.
I'm not even figuring on that. This was just the sales taxes on every part, the part we shared with the county and everything else, so I'm assuming that theirs did a little bit of the same thing. But, like I say, it's just, I got to looking at the whole thing, and our total taxes for the year were short about $90,000, and I thought, like, why was that? Or short of our budget. We had budgeted $93,000 more in taxes than we really collected. When I got to looking at it piece by piece, and it was almost all just that we were over on some other things, but all those sales tax collections were down. So it's,
Talking about business, restaurant, the whole nine.
but just sales tax, grocery, the whole, that's where it is.
Yeah, it did come up short, yeah.
So it's just, anyway, it's something.
I think he expected you to ask him about that when we were.
Yeah, I didn't wanna
financing.
try to get into that with all the other
Yeah.
going on. I had 35 liens to assess.
I just have one item.
Yes, sir.
There are, I believe we need to have someone check into it. There's a gas leak at somewhere in the area of Ratcliffe, and there used to be a street there called Roxy Lane. It's a very strong gas odor there. I've smelled it several times. I got properties over there, and probably need to be checked out.
Can I have a street address?
Yeah, Roxy
Not
Lane in this
Right.
area.
It's at the corner of Ratcliffe and Roxy
Roxy
Lane.
Lane.
It's not at my property.
Oh, yeah, I got that part.
It's across the
It's
street.
across the
Roxy Lane.
street.
Okay.
That's that little street that
little
goes
short
up behind that church there.
Yeah, I've seen the sign when I've been wandering around.
Hanging out over there.
I've
Okay.
got a meeting with Mike Cash in the morning, I'll say something.
Okay.
Go and smell.
Maybe methane.
You may be right. You never know now.
All right, is there anything else?
If not, I move that we adjourn.
Second.
I get lost in the